Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. My name is Aditya, and in today's video we are going to look at how we can use test containers for running up unit test cases. So let's understand what test containers are. So test containers allows us to run the unit test cases with the help of real dependencies, and with the help of test container, like, we don't have to actually mock the dependencies, right? So assume that you have a test case where you want to do some interaction in the database. So we can easily leverage test containers for such scenarios. Instead of mocking up our database connection, we can simply connect to the real database and then run our test cases. So we can use test containers with a lot of languages as of now, like Java. We can use it with Java, Golang, .NET, Node.js, Python, and there are a lot of other languages as well. And there are pre-built test containers available. So if, let's say, if you want to run test cases for Postgres, there is a dedicated Postgres container. If you want to run a test cases for ActiveMQ or Kafka, there are dedicated containers. But if your application needs a custom container, then we can also leverage it with the help of generic containers. So in generic containers, we can simply pass the Docker file, and using the Docker file, our container can spin up, and we can define what all ports we want to open, what all environment variable we want to set up. So all those things can be set up with the help of configurations. And in today's video, we'll be using Node.js to actually run the unit test cases. So the code that I'm going to show you, it's written in Node.js. It's a simple CRUD application where I have exposed two REST endpoints. One is the get and second one is the post. Using post, we can put some data onto the Postgres, and using that get endpoint, we are simply going to read the data from the database. So I'll show you first running up that application, and then we are going to see how we can use test containers with that. So this is my application here, and here you can see that I have a file called index.js. This is the index.ts. This is the entry point for my application, and here you can see that I am giving up the database connection endpoints. So I'm giving the host, the port, and the username passwords. All of those things are I'm giving here. And then there is one more property called entities. Using entities, we can define what all entities we want to persist, or don't want to do operations. And if I show you this entity, which is users, here you can see that this has only three fields. First is the ID, and second one is the name, and then third is the column. I've kept some constraint here, like the unique is equal to true. So this email should be always unique whenever we are going to do an insert operation. And then this ID field is automatically generated using this particular annotation. All right. And here we are initializing up the database. So if I go to this particular function, we are simply passing up all the options, and then we are initializing up the database. Now it's a simple Express.js application, where we have the application run is on port 3000. We can give custom ports as well, but for now we'll run it on 3000. And then there is another file called app.ts, where I have defined router, which is users. And if I go to this users router, here you can see that I have two endpoints. One is the post endpoint, and second one is the get endpoint. Now in case of post endpoint, what we are going to do, whatever request we get from the body, we are simply storing that into the database, and then we are returning up the status as 201 with the saved response. Now in case of get, what we are doing, we are simply reading up all the data from that specific user repository. So here you can see that we are getting up the instance of the user repository, and then we are calling the find function on that particular repository, which is user repository in this case. So this is going to return us all the users that are there in this database. And during this process, if there is any error, then we are going to get a response as 500 with the error message. So and this is the entities that I've already showed you, and database.ts is again I have already showed you. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's quickly run this application, and once this is running, then we'll be seeing how to run test cases, or how to define test cases for this particular application. So first, let's build the application. So this is going to convert the TypeScript code to the JavaScript, and here you can see that we have a build folder. And now I can simply run this using npm run start. So these commands are already are these commands are basically I've defined in the package.json. I think it's already running. Let me close this instance. And yeah, let's run it one more time. So here you can see that it is able to connect to the database. My database is running locally in this case as of now, and my application is running on port 3000, which means my application is running fine. And now what I'll do, I'll create one more terminal here, and let's try to insert some data into the Postgres using the post endpoint. So I have already commands with me. So the commands are already with me. I'll run this curl command. So you can see that it's a post call. I'm calling this on slash users endpoint. And then this is the body or the data that I'm passing. So let's run this particular command. So here you can see that since I have kept a constraint, the constraint is that on the particular entity, which is user entity, the email should be always unique. So that's why we are getting up this error. So what I'll do, I'll tweak the email, and maybe I can say ABC 100. Let's run this. So here you can see the record is inserted successfully, and we are getting the ID back as well, right? And let's try the get endpoint as well. Let's try to call this get endpoint, and let's see what response we get. So here you can see we are getting up all the records that are stored into the database, and this is the recent record that we stored into the DB just now. Now, so far this is good, right? I mean, this is how typically we uh, run the application. And now let's talk about writing up the test cases for this application, so that whenever we make any change to the application by running up the test, we ensure that the changes that we are making, they are always making sure that the application is stable. So I have a folder here called test, and inside this folder I have one more folder called integration, and here I have one file which is users route dot test dot ts. So in this particular file, I'm defining up test cases for users route, and the endpoint here is slash routes. So I have defined few test cases here. So let's see how how to actually uh, define the test cases. So since my application is using Postgres as a database, so here you can see that I'm using a Postgres SQL container, right? But assume that you have a dependency on a specific application for which there are no built-in test containers available, then you can use generic test containers as well. So here you can see that this is how we can define a generic test container. You can give the image, you can define other properties as well, like which ports you want to expose, and then simply call start. So this is going to start that particular container on your machine, right? So since I'm using Postgres, this type of a test container is already available, and here you can see that I am importing this uh, here as well. Now what I'm doing here is that in the before all part, I am simply creating up my Postgres container. Here you can see that I'm defining the image as well. And if you don't define the image, then it's going to always pick the latest image. But if you want to run your application against specific version of the dependencies, then you can always define the version. So here I'm using Postgres latest, but let's say you want to test this on Postgres version 13, 14, 12, right? Whatever version you want to test, you can simply pass the tag here. And then here I'm saying that with database, this is going to be the database name. This is going to be the username for my Postgres container. And then this is going to be the password for my Postgres container. And then I'm simply calling start here. All right. So once that particular container is started, then I'm creating up the database connection options. And here you can see that I am getting the host property from this particular object, which is the started instance of the Postgres. So here you can see I'm saying Postgres container dot get host. Similarly for port as well, I'm saying Postgres container dot get port, right? Then here I'm getting up the username, the password, and the database. And then as usual, I'm defining up my entity. Now after that, I'm initializing the database, and that's all. Okay, so this is This is where so far I have initialized the database. Now my database is ready, and I can start running up my actual test cases to test my application. So the first test case that I have defined here is that should create a new user, and in this particular test case we are going to call that slash users endpoint with post as a request method. So here you can see that I am calling up the slash users endpoint. It's a post call that I'm making, and then I'm sending up the data, which is this particular piece here. And here you can see that I'm passing the name and the email. And for email, just to avoid the conflict, because you might recall that in the users entity, I've set the email property as unique equal to true, which means that I always have to pass the unique email. That's why I'm generating up a random identifier and then passing it here. Now, uh, what I'm expecting in this particular response is that I should get a 201. And why 201? Because if I go to my route here you can see that on successful execution of this particular endpoint, I should get a response as 201. So that is what I'm expecting here. And then I'm doing some assertions on the response that I'm getting. So here I'm doing assertion on name, email, and ID. This is one test case. Then similarly, I have another test case as well, where we are trying to create a user with missing fields. And here you can see that I'm only passing name and there is no email. So it should throw in 500 error. That is what I'm tracking here. Similarly, here as well, there is one more test case where user should not be able to create a record with duplicate email. So again, this is also going to get failed. And here also, you can see that we are trying to retrieve all the users, and here the expected response is 200 because this is what is getting returned from this particular function. So by default, the response score is 200 here. And then we are doing some assertions here that the request length should be greater than the response should be greater than 0. And then we are doing some assertion on the email as well. Okay, so now let's try to run this application. So I'll quickly run the build first, and then I'll do npm run test. So this is going to build the application and run the test case against the container that we have defined. So here we have defined the Postgres container. Here you can see that I have defined the Postgres container is what I'm using. And here you can see that all of my test cases are passed here as well. Right. So in this case, like here you are able to see that we now don't have any dependency on the real databases, right, or any other application. Simply what we are doing here is that the code itself, our test case itself are spinning up the container, and then they are doing all the operations that are intended to be, and post that the containers are also getting cleaned up. So you can read more about the test containers in the official testcontainers.com site, and they have given examples related to all the major languages like Java, Go, .NET, Node.js, and then these are some of the built-in test containers that are available. And like I said, that if you have any custom application that has a dependency on your application, then you can always use generic containers. So here they have again given an example of Postgres, and there used to be one more example for, I think, ActiveMQ as well. Okay, I think it's not here. Maybe if we go to guides. Yep. So here, these are all the modules that are available, and we can use them as a dependency, and use with the help of test container we can run our unit test cases locally without having any dependency on any third party application. So yep, so here you can see that Postgres should also be available here. So here you can see Postgres is also available here, but rest other applications are also available, like Redis, Scala DB, then all the TIDB. So a lot of databases, and even even ClickHouse, Scoutbase. So all of these are available and which can be used in our application to run the test cases. So this was it for this video. Hope you like this video, and if you did like this video, then please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.